So it's once again that time of year where we take a look back at the best Easter eggs video games had to offer in 2023. As always, I'll limit myself to one Easter egg per game, and the Easter egg must be from a game or DLC that was released this year. Of course, this is my own opinion, and there is a chance that I have overlooked something. So if you think I have, then please let me know in the comments. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. Right, so let's try and cover these Easter eggs in chronological order, with the first Easter egg of interest being found in the Eggcellent HighFi Rush. Now, HighFi Rush was developed by Tango Gameworks. That's the same people responsible for the gory as all hell Evil Within games. As you probably can already tell, HighFi Rush is a very different kind of game, but Tango haven't forgotten their roots. At various locations in the game, you can find these two.
Another day, another mess that needs to be cleaned up. The cost of progress, it looks like. This is gonna be bad for morale. Can't see anybody liking this. Surprised no one put a claim in, but I need to take this to the top. We need bigger disposal chutes. These get clogged too easily. Someone might trip on these things, get hurt, can almost see the lawsuit.
There is so much oil.
You're damn right.
So these two robots are a reference to Sebastian and Joseph from the Evil Within. Up next is the Dead Space remake. Now, 2023 saw multiple excellent remakes, and the Dead Space remake was no different. Along with new areas and enemy encounters, new secrets were also added for players to find, with perhaps the coolest of them all being the sort of summoning circle that can be found in the break room. Now, to use the circle, you'll need to input codes using either a melee or a stomp. Well, one of the codes that you can enter is this. So apart from some interference on the screen, it's not immediately clear what exactly happened. Well, if you look to the floor, you can find an audio log that wasn't there before. So let's take a listen.
There once was a ship from the CECD, Ishimura USG. She cracked on moon with gravity. Go me, bully boys, go. Huh. Soon may the Callion come to save our souls and take us home. One day when the fixing is done, we'll take our leave and go. 3 score years she served her tour, 30 planets cracked and poor. The captain called no fly and swore he'd take that mucker in tow. Huh. Soon may the Callion come to save our souls and take us home. One day when the fixing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Da 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 da. Before the ship could set on home, tragedy struck and the colonies are gone. The old red marker done them wrong and brought the miners low. Huh. Soon may the Callion come to save our souls and take us home. One day when the fixing is done, we'll take our leave and go. The ghouls aboard a mystery spoke of immutology. The captain swore he'd keep his creed and drag his crew down so. Ha! Soon may the Callion come to save our souls and take us home. One day when the fixing is done, we'll take our leave and go.
Yup, it's a sea shanty about the USG Ishimura. Next up is Battlefield 2042. Now, the Battlefield series is known for its overly complicated and often visually impressive Easter eggs, but my personal pick for this video is something as simple as a pair of shoes. On the Flashpoint map, you can find this. So these shoes are the same shoes worn by Mirror's Edge protagonist Faith Connors. Up next is one of the best prank Easter eggs I think I've ever seen. Games of Call of Duty Warzone are notoriously sweaty, with players looking to get an advantage any way that they can. Well, on April Fool's Day, an option appeared in Warzone that offered players a nuke. The best thing about this option is that it cost a measly $4,000, which for a presumably game-ending weapon like a nuclear bomb seems cheap. The thing is, after scrounging together the required $4,000 and then some, the price of the nuke has changed to $4,300. Okay, so that is odd, but we have $4,200, so what's an extra $100? Well, after finding way more than the $100 that we needed, this time having $6,200 in the bank, the price of the nuke is now $6,300. So the trick here is, no matter how much money you have, the nuke will always cost $100 more, which to someone who doesn't realise it was April Fool's Day must have been really annoying, but to everyone else, was really funny. Next up is Dead Island 2. Now, despite not having a massive amount of Easter eggs to find, there was one Easter egg in particular that sparked some debate. Now, originally, I thought that this zombie was a reference to Guile from the Street Fighter series. I mean, the hair and the clothes match, so I was pretty confident. Well, loads of people had different opinions, with theories ranging from Duke Nukem all the way to Arnold Schwarzenegger or even Ivan Drago from Rocky IV. To be honest, I'm still not 100% sure who this giant zombie is referencing, or if it's referencing anyone at all, but I've included it as one of my favourites of the year purely because of the many different theories that you guys had. Next up is the fast-paced first-person shooter, Combat Master. During the arms race game mode, which sees you unlocking a new weapon with each kill, you are tasked with taking an enemy down with a melee weapon. Now, these melee weapons are your typical FPS melee weapons, but there is one melee weapon that is different from the rest. So there is a very rare chance that your final weapon in the arms race mode will be a PlayStation 5 controller, which you will need to get a kill with to win the game. Now, I say that this is rare, as it was for me, but I've seen comments from some of you that claim to have gotten the controller at your first attempt, which is kind of annoying. Anyway, the controller also comes with a couple of really cool inspect animations, with one of them being a reference to the famous Konami code. Next up is Mr. Hop's Playhouse 3. During stage 1F, you can walk through a wall and find a hidden switch that, when pressed, doesn't seem to do anything. However, if you explore the area further, you can find this. So this room is a reference to Undertale. The jumper on the wall is the same jumper worn by Frisk, and the sunflower on the ground is a reference to Flowey. Up next is a game that hasn't even released yet. Lake Haven Chrysalis is a prequel for the upcoming Lake Haven, a game that is heavily inspired by early survival horror games like Resident Evil and Silent Hill. Now, finding this Easter egg is like finding a needle in a haystack, and I mean that in the most literal of ways. Early on in the game, you have to explore a barn, and it's when inside this barn you can hear this sound. So this sound means that you're close to finding a needle in a haystack. If you spam the interact button, eventually you will pick up said needle, but apparently there is nothing special about it. Well, if you head below the nearby house, you can use it to unlock a door. So this area is a reference to PT, the playable trailer for the now cancelled Silent Hills game. If you then decide to leave the house, because I mean why wouldn't you, this will happen. So this bathroom is the same bathroom seen at the beginning of Silent Hill 2. And if you exit the bathroom, you will find yourself in Silent Hill, which is really cool. The final Easter egg for today's video is my favourite office Easter egg in all of video games. During the sabotage quest in Starfield, you can find this. So this spilled pot of chili and stray oven glove is a reference to this brilliant scene from the US office.
Everybody is going to get to know each other in the pot. I'm serious about this stuff. I'm up the night before, pressing garlic.
So that's it, for now. You see, I have no doubt that I've forgotten some brilliant Easter eggs, and I also have no doubt that you guys would be more than willing to point them out, so expect a part 2. If you did enjoy this video, then a like is appreciated. Thank you all for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.